The Waza of Kashiwazaki, talking about Osai Komi Waza. We've gone over Kamishihogatame, Kuzure Kamishihogatame, and now we're moving into more of a textbook Kamishihogatame. Obviously, he showed the Kuzure Kamishihogatame before this one because it works in so closely with Yokoshiho, at least the Yokoshiho that he likes to use. So now, into Kamishiho. And so, you grab his belt with both hands. Again, he's always recommending getting a hold of the belt when you can. And you clamp your elbows on the sides of his arms there. And you see the position of his base. You know, how wide and how stable it is. Because of where your arms are, because of the way you're controlling his arms, and the way you're controlling his belt, it's unlikely that even a really big, strong guy is going to be able to bridge you over, or roll you over, reverse you. If you clamp his arms with your arms, you grab the belt, and you have a wide, stable base, and he just feels that this isn't very vulnerable to being bridged over. It's not vulnerable to reversals. And for that reason, he feels that it's well suited for a smaller judoka to use against someone who's bigger and stronger. And again, you notice how wide his base is and the position of his feet in the L Jigata. That gives him a lot of stability, good balance, and also can give him good mobility as well. Yeah, you see this a lot with beginners, but it's very easy to... You're very, very vulnerable to getting reversed if you put your base in that kind of position, or in this position here. This position is also very vulnerable to a bridge, a teppo gaishi. And so here's the base he recommends. And so you clamp your elbows on his arms once again and get a good solid pull on his belt with both hands. Now, if your opponent's really big and strong, you've got a real moose underneath you, he recommends posting up on your feet like this and have your hips up in the air. That way, as he moves, again, bridging you is really hard with your arms in the position that they are. And also, while you're up on your feet like that, you can shift and shuffle around and adjust to how your opponent moves, as you can see here. Get all your weight on his chest. See how he moves along with him here? Says this is very, very good. This is very good for a smaller judoka to use on a big, strong guy. So as he shuffles around, you maintain your position, and again, with his arms where they are, I wouldn't recommend putting your elbows on the ground. You want to clamp your opponent's arms with your elbows and forearms. Just as a general rule, you want to keep your elbows and forearms off the ground if you can help it, because then you tend to rest. If you put your elbows and forearms on the ground, you tend to rest on them, and when you do that, you're more vulnerable to getting bridged over, and you tend not to put the kind of pressure on your opponent that you need to. So just as with the other versions of Kamishiho, with this version of Kamishiho, when you're over both arms, over both shoulders in this case, if your arms are long enough, you can still reach down and grab the back of his belt with both hands. And it gives you some good control, but you can see the freedom that he has with his arms and his chest. And that gives him the opportunity to do things like that. And so again, he recommends, pretty much regardless who you're holding down, if you're going to use your standard Kamishiho over both arms, you want to go around his arms. You want to clamp his arms with your elbows and get a solid grip on his belt with both hands.